Unlock the 3 miraculous skills revealed for divine thriving in the prophetic energy of 2026. In the quaint rural village of Meadowlark, whispers of hope twisted through the air like autumn leaves swirling before the wind. Mary, a devoted churchgoer and mother of 3, felt the stirrings of something divine. After a stirring sermon from Pastor Samuel, who spoke of a prophetic energy about to envelop the faithful, she was captivated. 3 miraculous skills, he had exclaimed, his voice echoing through the hallowed sanctuary, promising a pathway to divine thriving. The very air seemed charged with celestial possibility. As the final notes of the choir hung in the rafters, Mary clasped her hands in fervent prayer. She imagined the miracles unfurling before her. Her husband, once shaken by unemployment, filled with purpose. Her son, struggling with addiction, liberated from his shackles, and the peace that could surround her family like a warm embrace. But doubt loomed large, darker than the storm clouds draping the hills outside. With each measured step back home, her heart felt heavy, a pillory of pain and uncertainty. In her living room, she gathered her children around their statue of St. Jude, the keeper of lost causes. "We must pray, my dears," she whispered, her voice trembling. Together they closed their eyes, fingers intertwined, each breath a silent plea lifted to the heavens. The flickering candlelight danced, casting gentle shadows, and for a moment, their worries faded like the soft hum of a lullaby. Yet outside the sanctuary's serenity, the village struggled. Economic whispers morphed into a frigid wind chill, and dark clouds descended as illness marked the loved ones of dear friends. Mary felt the burdens of all those she loved stacking upon her shoulder. Then, in her desperation, she sought solutions, investing in schemes that crumbled like dried leaves beneath her feet, causing only more heartache. In the midst of escalating chaos, the community announced a prayer gathering. Uncertainty loomed over the congregation like a dark fog, but hope flickered. As Mary and the villagers gathered in the old chapel, candles flickering and voices lifted in prayer, an electric energy filled the room, crackling with expectation. It was then that a miracle unfolded. Martha, a beloved member of the church long imprisoned by a debilitating illness, stood amidst them whole and radiant, tears of joy streaming down her face. The congregation gasped, disbelief mingling with jubilation, as hope soared like the dawn breaking over the hills. It was in this moment, hearts swelling and voices raised, that Mary began to grasp the miraculous skills. Trust in God's plan, the beauty of community unity, and the transformative power of unwavering prayer. As her heart filled with gratitude, she felt the nudge of something greater. Still, doubts crept in, fueled by her family's trials. Could these skills truly salvage her loved ones? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the flickering candlelight illuminated her dear ones surrounding her, the spirit of transformation surged through their home, an ember of hope igniting within. Yet, the village faced challenges that could unravel even the strongest of faith. Mary stood at a crossroads, her heart torn between the reality of struggle and the beckoning call of faith. What unfolding miracles awaited? Would the skills she unlocked truly guide them to a miraculous future in 2026? With unanswered prayers hanging in the air, she sensed the flickering light inviting her deeper into the embrace of divine guidance. As Mary closed her eyes for another night of fervent prayer, a whisper stirred within her soul, hinting at an extraordinary journey ahead. In the stillness of night, the moon bathed Meadowlark in a soft glow, casting silver light upon the gardens where the villagers often whispered their dreams. As Mary lay in bed, the anxiety had transformed into a deep yearning for clarity. She felt a growing urgency in her spirit, a gentle nudge guiding her to seek the miraculous skills that Pastor Samuel had spoken of. The desire to act, to step beyond her fears, bubbled up inside her like a fresh spring. The next morning, she rose with a resolve she hadn't known before, her heart vibrating with a divine certainty. It was time to embrace the three skills: trust, unity, and prayer, as the anchor for her family and community. As she prepared breakfast for her children, she noticed their laughter spilling over like sunlight into their small kitchen. The warmth of their innocence ignited hope within her that refused to quench. Each smile exchanged was a reminder of the miracles they were all destined for. Hunger for change and a vision of transformation set Mary on a path to gather others. With a deep breath, she ventured into the village square, where the air hummed with expectation. Mary spoke to her neighbors about the prayer gathering and the miracle of Martha. She shared the vision of thriving and healing, her heart full as she watched hesitant faces begin to light up. With every word, she could feel the collective faith rising, like a tide lifting ships. Together they would create a wave of hope. As the days unfurled into a rhythm of shared prayers, Mary felt the interconnectedness of the village drawing upon the first miraculous skill: trust in God's plan. The villagers began to share their burdens openly, and the pain that had once isolated them transformed into a collective resolve. One elderly man spoke of his worries about his farm. Another woman shared her struggles with a sick child. Each shared story cradled a heart yearning for divine intervention, and with every revelation, their bonds grew stronger. In the evenings, they would gather around lanterns in the village square, their voices mingling in a symphony of prayer. It was here, under the starlit sky, that the second skill, community unity, blossomed. Each prayer became a thread weaving them together, as new friendships formed through shared struggles. The warmth of their collective spirit enveloped them, sweeping away shadows of doubt and despair. One night, deep in heartfelt prayer, Mary felt an overwhelming surge of divine presence. She closed her eyes tightly, surrendering to the flood of emotion washing over her. Suddenly, she saw visions of her husband, not lost but actively working, filled with joy and purpose. She imagined her son free and vibrant, laughing in the light of day. Mary opened her eyes, tears streaming down her face. The third skill, the transformative power of unwavering prayer, took root in her soul, sprouting a faith that defied all obstacles. But as faith deepened, so did the trials of the village. Illnesses persisted, and murmurs of discouragement threatened the fragile hope they had built. Could they really sustain this spirit through harder days? Could Mary's newfound confidence withstand the test of despair? In moments of doubt, she turned to prayer, seeking answers and strength. Each prayer was a lifeline tossed into turbulent waters. As she did, she felt a warmth enveloping her, an assurance that she was not alone. What awaited Mary and her community? Would they rise above the challenges or succumb to weariness? With hearts wide open, they leaned in closer, ready to embrace the next miracle awaiting them. In a moment of quiet reflection, she felt a pull. There was a promise in the air, a new direction hidden amidst unseen possibility. What new revelations would spring forth? What would happen when faith met trial once more? The anticipation danced all around her, like the flicker of candles under the night sky. As dawn broke over Meadowlark, a golden light spilled across the village, illuminating the gardens where dreams once whispered. Mary's heart swelled anew with anticipation. She felt it in the air, a sweet fragrance of hope mingling with the morning dew. Yet, there was a heaviness that hung like a shadow, a reminder of the challenges that still loomed. Determined and filled with divine purpose, she rose early to perform her morning tasks. Each gesture, from kneading the bread to washing the dishes, became a form of prayer. In the rhythm of her work, Mary sought the strength to lead her family through the trials that lay ahead. The village had come together to pray, yet doubts still crept into the hearts of many. That evening, as they gathered once more beneath the twinkling stars, Mary sensed an unspoken tension. The weight of illness and hardship felt physically present, like a thick fog that refused to dissipate. A man stood at the edge of the circle, eyes filled with uncertainty. "What if our prayers don't heal?" he asked. His words sent a ripple of unease through the crowd. Mary, feeling the momentary chill in the air, stepped forward. What we ask for in faith may not come in the form we expect. She began, her voice steady and warm. But each prayer is a seed planted in fertile ground. Together, our hopes will grow, perhaps in ways we cannot yet see. A murmur of agreement reverberated through the group. It was a reminder that when deep faith intertwines with human frailty, miracles have a way of surfacing, often wrapped in unexpected forms. Mary then encouraged them to share their worries aloud, creating sacred space for vulnerability. As each heart spoke, praise and sighs intertwined like music, there was power in vulnerability. Night by night, they began to witness tiny miracles blossoming in the darkest corners of their lives. A child once plagued by frequent fevers had begun to laugh freely, jumping rope with newfound joy. A farmer reported that despite drought, his crops had thrived harvest after harvest. With every shared story, they saw threads of faith weaving them closer together, creating a fabric of unshakable resolve. Mary's own heart swelled with joy as she paused to reflect. What if this collective faith, this unity in vulnerability, transformed their village into a beacon of hope for the world? Could their humble prayers not only heal their wounds but ignite a movement of divine love far beyond their borders? Yet, even as she basked in the joys, a fierce wind began to sweep through the hollow of her heart, a whisper that warned of impending challenges ahead. Glimmers of doubt resurfaced, darker and tempestuous. She had felt this before, a test designed not to crush but to strengthen. As she knelt once more to pray, she envisioned the faces of her neighbors, each one uniquely beautiful, each one deserving of hope and healing. The warmth of divine presence returned, wrapping around her like a loving embrace. We are meant for greater things, Mary whispered, spirit ignited anew. This is not the end but merely the beginning. With every prayer, she felt the foundations of their unity becoming stronger. She could sense God waiting, poised to release his wondrous surprises, yet still concealed. They were on the brink of something magnificent, a turning point crafted by faith and love. As she arose, shaking off the shadows of weariness, a gentle breeze caressed her cheek, carrying whispers of what was yet to come. What divine purpose awaited them? Would they find strength in unity when faced with trials that threatened to tear them apart? With hearts lifted and hands joined, they turned to one another, ready to face whatever challenge lay next. The night wrapped its arms around them, holding them close, cradling their hopes and fears like precious gems. And then, a voice rang out in the darkness. Tonight, we pray for wonders beyond what we can imagine. What if our greatest miracle is right at our fingertips? The night air felt electric, a palpable current of expectation resonating through the village of Meadowlark. Mary stood in the circle of her neighbors, their faces illuminated by flickering candlelight. Each flicker seemed to dance in rhythm with their hearts, bound together in a shared belief that something extraordinary was about to unfold. As the strangeress words lingered, Mary felt a stirring within her spirit, not just a desire for healing, but an urgency to tap into the miraculous potential that lay dormant, waiting for faith to awaken it. The nights of prayer had softened their hearts, but now she sensed they were on the brink of something transformative. Let us open our minds and souls, Mary spoke, her voice rising with the swell of the moment. Hearts wide, we can receive the gifts God has for us. What if our biggest blessings are simply waiting for us to believe enough to reach out and claim them? Soft murmurs of agreement flowed through the crowd. Eyes brightened and souls began to awaken. The man who had questioned the effectiveness of prayer earlier now looked intrigued, leaning in as if to capture every word. With a gentle smile, Mary continued, sometimes, the greatest miracles aren't about grand gestures or astonishing changes. They can be found in the small, delicate adjustments we make every day. Tonight, we're called to visualize our dreams, to breathe life into our aspirations, and to know that there is power in our collective faith. The stars shimmered above them, as if nodding along to her encouragement. Mary could feel the pulse of the earth beneath them, the heartbeat of something beautiful, unfolding. Let each of us pray for 3 miraculous skills this night, she declared, her voice filled with conviction. Let us ask for the skill of vision, the skill of courage, and the skill of unity. As she named each skill, she could see her neighbors deepening in thought, reflecting and embracing their aspirations. The farmer clasped his hands, silently wishing for courage to venture into methods untried. A mother closed her eyes, envisioning a brighter future for her children, a future braided in hope and strength. Vision to see beyond the shadows. Mary started. The clarity to believe that miracles are not just distant dreams but realities waiting to manifest. Courage to face the storms, to walk through adversity knowing that every trial has a purpose. And unity bonds so strong that nothing can sever them. At the mention of unity, the gentle breeze circled them once more, wrapping around their gathering, as if heaven itself acknowledged their prayers. Glances exchanged between neighbors spoke of understanding and camaraderie, the shared desire for something more significant than themselves. Tonight, as we pray together, let us imagine our prayers like a canvas, each brushstroke representing our desires and our faith, layered together to create a masterpiece, a new reality full of wonder. With every word, Mary felt the atmosphere thickening, being charged with hope and divine purpose. The candles flickered higher, illuminating faces filled with anticipation. Little by little, the unspoken fears and doubts began to melt away. Each heart felt a touch of warmth, a thread of connection binding them into one resilient fabric. Just then, the first bell of the approaching dawn began to toll, echoing through the valley. A sign, perhaps, that the time for waiting was coming to an end. What if our destinies shift at sunrise? A child asked in a whisper, her innocence piercing through the heavy air. That powerful question hung in the silence, vibrating with promise and possibility. As the last notes of the bell faded, the village stood on the cusp of the unknown, hearts open, eyes raised to the heavens, ready to receive Goddess' magnificence. Could this be the moment when heaven's wonders began to spill into their lives? What miracles might await them just beyond the dawn? With eyes cast toward the horizon, they braced themselves for the light, trusting that it would bring forth the extraordinary. As the first light of dawn began to spill over the hills, painting the sky in delicate shades of pink and gold, an air of quiet reverence enveloped the village. The warm glow wrapped around Mary and her neighbors as they stood shoulder to shoulder, excitement rippling through their hearts. At that moment, the world felt pregnant with possibility, and their collective faith simmered, waiting to burst forth. "Can you feel it?" Mary whispered to those closest to her, her voice barely rising above the hush of early morning. Their nods mirrored her own sense of divine expectation, an acknowledgement of the sacred transformation unfolding around them. In the crisp morning air, Mary could almost hear the heartbeat of the earth echoing her anticipation, and within her spirit, she felt an undeniable urge to share the truth she had glimpsed during her nights of prayer. "Let us begin by releasing our fears and doubts," she proclaimed, her voice steady and clear. As her words floated into the dawn, the villagers closed their eyes, embarking on an inward journey. Their breaths synchronized, creating a gentle rhythm that matched the pulse of the rising sun. "We release the weight of uncertainty, we shed resentment and strife, we invite the light of new beginnings." With each phrase, Mary visualized the burdens lifting, taking flight like shadows chased away by the sun's radiant embrace. A soft breeze caressed their cheeks, carrying with it a feeling of comfort, a gentle affirmation that God was among them. There was something remarkable in the air that morning, almost electric, a spiritual current rising as they collectively let go of the chains that held them back. "I feel lighter," exclaimed a woman from the back, a hint of laughter mingling with her wonder. Her joy was infectious. Others shared their own revelations, the lifting of burdens, the warmth of hope igniting within them. Soon, inspired by the raw energy of the moment, Mary lifted her hands toward the awakening sky. "With these burdens lifted, let us now ask for clarity, for vision," she exclaimed. "May our eyes be open to see God's path. Let us discern the beauty around us, even in the mundane. Every moment holds the potential for a miracle." At her words, a beautiful stillness descended upon the villagers. They breathed in deeply, savoring the promise of renewed vision. Each face radiated anticipation as they imagined the miracles waiting to unfold before them. The farmer, emboldened by the spirit of courage, finally formed words in his heart. "If only I could see my field flourish, to share the bounty with those in need," he murmured, voice thick with emotion. Nearby, the mother suddenly found strength to dream bigger for her children. "Courage," Mary called, raising her voice. "Let us ask for the courage to step forward, to embrace the changes ahead without fearing the unknown." And so they prayed together, their united voices soaring like a beautiful melody through the morning air. They called for courage to face every storm, to pursue their dreams fiercely, and to trust in the promises of God. They felt empowered, like a tapestry woven tightly, each thread supporting the other. But beyond the courage and clarity, Mary knew there was one last request that ignited the heart of their prayer unity. "May we come together as one," she urged, eyes shining with unshakable belief. "May our bonds grow stronger so that together we can conquer the world." As their voices mingled, a hush fell over the assembly, weaving a divine tapestry. It was as if heaven itself had pulled back a curtain to reveal a glimpse of eternal beauty and purpose that transcended their earthly struggles. Suddenly, the horizon blazed with colors beyond their wildest dreams. Everyone gasped. The sky transformed, alight with ethereal hues and shapes they had never seen. Was it a miracle occurring, or just the magic of the early dawn? Yet Mary knew that whatever it was a sign, one that beckoned them to the greater journey ahead. What if the divine revelation takes us to places we never imagined? She pondered aloud, eyes sparkling with possibilities. As they stood in awe, the sun fully broke the horizon, flooding the village with golden warmth and igniting their dreams anew. Could the dawn truly unveil the wonders of heaven? With hearts full and spirits soaring, they took the first hopeful steps toward the extraordinary, ready to embrace whatever awaited. What if this was just the beginning? What else might God reveal in the shimmer of the day ahead? With the sun climbing higher, bathing the village in its golden glow, a radiant energy began to pulse around Mary and her neighbors. The colors in the sky cast shadows and light upon their faces, deepening the sense of connection they all felt at that moment. Mary turned to see the farmer, his brow furrowed with thought, the weight of his unfulfilled dreams still heavy upon him. "What is the first step, Mary?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper, hinting at the longing in his heart. It was a question that hung in the air, one that stirred the hearts of all present. Mary closed her eyes for a moment, seeking guidance in the growing warmth that enveloped them. "We must first believe," she said, her voice steady yet infused with passion. "When we believe in His promises, we open doors to miracles. It's not just faith, it's faith in action." A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. Pushed by an unseen force, she continued, "We must share our dreams with one another, lifting each other up so that our collective faith can ignite a flame that cannot be extinguished." Just then, the wind shifted, almost as if it carried her words into every corner of the village. The tree leaves danced joyfully, and the birds took flight, arching gracefully against the vast expanse of their magical sky. Mary felt emboldened. She had touched the spirit of unity she longed to cultivate. The farmer stood up straighter, the weight of his uncertainty lightening. "I want to share my dream," he declared, "to create a garden sanctuary in my field, where others can come and find peace, where our children can connect with nature, and where we can grow not just crops but community." Cheers erupted from the villagers, a wave of energy washing over them. Each heartfelt declaration seemed to weave the fabric of their bond tighter. One by one, they opened their hearts, revealing dreams that had once seemed too far away. Mary felt tears prick her eyes. This was something beautiful, a tapestry of hope. "Feel that?" she asked, her voice lifting above the gathering. "That joy, that freedom, it's God breathing life into our dreams. Let us claim this." Harmonious murmurs echoed back as they collectively envisioned what their lives could blossom into. Even the sun seemed to shine brighter, as if responding to their united joy. With renewed fervor, Mary called for moments of worship. They joined hands, creating a circle, a vibrant expression of their dreams, hopes, and faith. In worship, they surrendered their individual shells, seeking to draw closer to the divine heart that beat for them all. Suddenly, amidst their prayers, an unexpected hush fell over the crowd. As if time stood still, a gentle golden light spread across the gathering, illuminating the faces of the faithful. Was this a sign of God's presence, or yet another facet of the wonders they were destined to discover? Amidst the silence, a sense of urgency blossomed in Mary's spirit. "Listen," she whispered, sensing a shift in the atmosphere. "There's more than just our dreams. God is inviting us to deeper mysteries. But what if we have to sacrifice, to step into what seems uncertain, to fully embrace this journey?" Her words hung like dew in the air, awakening a new sense of seriousness. The question lingered, resonating within each heart. What might God require from them to unlock these divine possibilities? As the sun continued its ascent, casting dazzling rays upon them, Mary knew this was just the beginning. The villagers stood poised on the brink of something greater, a calling that demanded courage and trust in the unseen. What lay ahead was unknown, but amidst the sparkling beauty of dawn, a breathless thrill of anticipation filled the air. What miracle awaited them around the next bend? What personal sacrifice would bloom into something magnificent? As the golden light shimmered over the villagers, a wave of apprehension and excitement rippled through the circle. Mary felt the energy pulse around her, a testament to their collective hopes, but also the weight of the journey ahead. She gazed into the faces of her friends and neighbors, each expression reflecting a mix of resolve and uncertainty. "Look at us," she said softly, voice weaving through the stillness. "We are standing at the threshold of something divine. Each dream shared today is a step into something greater, a chance to grow together, not just as individuals but as a community grounded in faith." The farmer nodded, his eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "But what does it take to make this all real? I don't want it to just fade like a morning fog." A woman standing beside him, who had been quietly listening, spoke up. "Faith is action, I senti it, but it's also trust. God may ask us to let go of our fears and step into the unknown, even if it scares us." "Exactly," Mary affirmed, sensing a growing warmth that wrapped around the group like a blanket. "Our dreams have to be nurtured. A seed needs dirt and water to bloom. What if we allowed God's hands to guide us through the dirt? What if the sacrifices we make bring forth fruit that's beyond our imagination?" A child laughed nearby, breaking the tension, her carefree spirit igniting laughter in the crowd. In that laughter, something shifted. The air filled with an unexpected joy, reminding them that faith was not always serious. It could dance and swell with a lightness that illuminated the heart. Mary took a deep breath, feeling the collective heartbeat of her village pulsing in sync. "Let us not forget that our unity is our greatest strength. So, I propose we meet here each week. We can pray, share our journeys, and celebrate our dreams together. Each step we take, however small, can lead to miraculous transformations." An elderly man with deep lines etched in his face raised his hand. "And what of our burdens? Can we bring those too? The weight often feels too heavy to carry alone." "Absolutely," Mary responded, her heart swelling. "In our worship, let us lift each other's burdens. In giving, we receive. Together, we'll sow seeds of hope, and in time, we'll reap a harvest that fills our hearts and our village." An overwhelming wave of agreement cascaded through the group, voices rising in enthusiasm. The energy surrounding them seemed to vibrate with the promise of new beginnings. Fingers intertwined tighter, and Mary closed her eyes once more, feeling the Holy Spirit move among them, urging them forward. As the last rays of sunlight dipped behind the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and indigo, a profound stillness enveloped the gathering. Each person stood in reverence, their hearts open for God's guidance. In that sacred silence, Mary sensed a whisper deep within her, a calling for more than just community, a call awakening the deeper mysteries waiting to be unveiled. "What if our dreams are just the beginning?" she breathed, her words hanging in the crisp air. "What wonders could flow from these paths we're willing to walk?" With those resonating questions echoing in her mind, a thought ignited within her. How could their sacrifices transform not just their lives but the world around them? In that moment, a vision danced before her, flickering with possibilities and prayers unspoken. Each member of the circle was not just dreaming but becoming a beacon of light in the surrounding fields. What would that mean for their future? And could they truly be vessels of God's miracle? The night unfolded before them, filled with divine mystery. What new gifts awaited their discovery? As the moonlight bathed the village in a soft glow, Mary opened her eyes, realizing the profound moment they stood in together. The hush of night held a sacred promise, an echo of divine possibilities lingering in the air. She took in her friends, their faces illuminated by the luminescence above, filled with both hope and a thirst for the extraordinary. Let us not fear the unknown, she encouraged, her voice firm yet tender. Instead, let us embrace it. God has called us, and if we listen closely, we will hear the path unfolding, step by step. The farmer brushed away a tear, his heart swelling with encouragement. But how do we listen? How do we know it's God guiding us and not just our own dreams leading astray? A gentle breeze rustled the leaves overhead as the old woman, wise and weathered, peered into the distance. Each of us has a light within, our intuition guided by scripture and faith. When we reflect, pray, and share, the Spirit reveals what our hearts cannot see. Mary nodded in agreement, feeling an electric anticipation surge through her. Yes, it's when we gather like this, heart to heart, that our individual lights intertwine. Together, we create a lighthouse, steering us toward clarity, unity, and purpose. The child who had laughed earlier, now filled with innocent curiosity, stepped forward. What happens if we try and get it wrong? Will God still love us if we take a misstep? A hush fell over the group, the question sinking deep into their souls. Mary felt the weight of it too. What a beautiful heart you have. Goddess love doesn't measure our steps. Rather, it embraces every part of our journey. Each stumble teaches us, leads us closer to Him. So let us embrace those moments as gifts. The villagers exchanged glances, a new understanding brightening their eyes. Together, they were bound by faith even in uncertainty. Mary felt the warmth of the moment wrap around her, almost tangible, much like a hug from an unseen presence. I believe we've stumbled upon something powerful. If we are truly willing to make sacrifices and lean on one another, the Lord will weave our dreams into reality. A determined nod rippled through the group. In that moment, authority seemed to gather around them, the promise of revival encouraging their spirits. Each heart began to pulse with the same intention, a community driven not just by dreams but by divine purpose. As they continued to share, lifting their voices in prayer and gratitude, Mary envisioned their gathering evolving beyond the village. What if they could influence others? What if their light could shine as a beacon of hope for those lost in darkness? Let us not limit our dreams, Mary declared, excitement fluttering in her chest. Our village is but the beginning. Imagine our collective dreams spreading, touching others in need. If we join together in faith and action, we can create an impact far beyond what we can fathom. As the stars twinkled like scattered blessings, Mary felt an overwhelming surge of interconnection. The night air thickened with spiritual energy, buzzing with what was to come. Yet, in that moment, she also sensed the weight of responsibility resting heavily on their shoulders. Are we truly ready to become the vessels of His miracles? She wondered, a whisper laced with both fear and exhilaration. The gathering fell silent, pondering her words as the question hung in the cool night air, inviting contemplation. What divine tapestry awaited their weaving? The night was filled with tangible anticipation, echoing with infinite possibilities. What miracles awaited their brave hearts willing to tread the unexplored path? The stillness enveloped them, filled with unspoken possibilities. Mary's heart raced as she absorbed the weight of anticipation urged forth by the quiet. The stars themselves twinkled, as if in agreement with the sacred turn their lives might soon take. With a deep breath, she broke the silence. What if we began now? What if our steps of faith started tonight? We can ignite our dreams by turning our focus outward, supportive and loving toward one another. Let us share what God has placed on our hearts. The farmer, feeling newfound courage, stepped forward. I want to help those struggling to feed their families. I have land, tools, but I need both hands and hearts to work on it. Together, we could grow not just food, but hope. The old woman, her eyes sparkling like the stars above, nodded eagerly. And I can teach those who want to learn about the herbs and plants that bring healing. We must nourish not just bodies, but souls. Laughter erupted from the child, a sound like chimes dancing in the night air. I want to paint, to capture our stories and dreams so that even those far away can see what is possible. Their ideas filled the air, swirling like leaves caught in a breeze. Each voice added another brushstroke to the canvas they were crafting together. Mary felt a wave of joy overcome her. Listen, the Spirit is speaking through us. We are warriors in His name. Each thought, dream, and intention is like a thread, weaving us together for something magnificent. Let us not ignore the spark God has ignited within us. The group began to hum with energy. They prayed fervently, words overlapping into a beautiful symphony as they sought guidance for their noble efforts. Mary gently led them, feeling a divine presence, a promise that throbbed in the depths of her heart. As they prayed, a palpable change altered the air around them. The moon lit the dark corners of the village, illuminating not just the ground, but the paths that were about to unfold. A flicker of warmth enveloped them, their faith wrapping around them like a protective cocoon. But as the night deepened, Mary also sensed hesitation beneath the excitement. Yet, she added softly, with great love comes great responsibility. We cannot overlook the challenges. Fear may creep in, trying to break our spirit. The farmer, now visibly excited, thrust his fist into the air with determination. Whatever challenges come, we will face them together. This is about more than just us. It's about the community, about the love of God flowing through us to those in need. A murmur of agreement rippled through the gathering. Each face was filled with light, his words healing doubts and fears. Mary looked into their eyes, each one a firework of faith and hope. Let us keep pushing forward. Then, there is a larger purpose at play. We will not walk this path alone. As the essence of their purpose vibrated around them, an inner peace began to settle among them. It felt electric and mesmerizing, a bond that tugged at their hearts. They knew that great trials lay ahead, yet their faith was steadfast, a promise that illuminated the road ahead. With a newfound sense of identity wrapped around them, they felt the anchor of divine support beneath their feet. Shall we begin mapping our dreams? Mary asked, a spark in her eyes, holding the hope and vulnerability of an entire village. In that moment, as they joined hands, the entire atmosphere shifted, and uncertainty turned into resilience. A seer's grace seemed to cast a glow over their intentions, weaving them tighter into an exquisite tapestry of love, joy, and sacrifice. What awaited them at dawn? Would they be ready to face the mountains ahead, united under the divine purpose that called them forth? The night was still alive, brimming with revelations yet to unfold. As dawn's light gently poured over Meadowlark, Mary stood once more among her neighbors, hearts intertwined in faith and purpose. The weight of the past was beginning to feel lighter, as if the night had swept away lingering fears. Today was different. Today was the turning point they'd all been longing for. A warm breeze swirled around them, and with it, the sweet aroma of blooming flowers met their senses. Mary took a deep breath, the fragrant air filling her lungs and inspiring her spirit. She gazed into the faces of her friends, shining with determination and hope. Today we finally begin, Mary proclaimed, her voice steady and vibrant. We will not just talk about miracles. We will be the miracles. A chorus of affirming voices burst forth. Each wanted to share their vision, a desire to create something beautiful together. The farmer stepped forward, excitement radiating from him. As I tend to my crops, I'll plant a community garden where everyone can contribute and share the bounty. The old woman smiled knowingly. And I'll host workshops on healing herbs and remedies, teaching our children the importance of nurturing their bodies and souls. A child chimed in, voice bright and eager. I'll paint bright murals on the village walls. Art can brighten even the darkest days. With every declaration, the energy of hope surged higher. Mary felt a warmth flood her heart. It was as if waves of love were rolling through their gathering. But remember, Mary added gently, we need to be prepared for challenges too. We can't just wish our troubles away. We must fight together, rooted in faith and unity. The villagers nodded, determination set in their eyes. They shared ideas, calling upon their unique talents, ready to transform their dreams into action. No longer were they just individuals together, they became an unstoppable force. As the sun climbed higher, illuminating the way, they dove into action. Each family took a role, working side by side like grains of wheat sown tightly in a field. Laughter danced through the air, mingling with the chorus of children's voices. The garden began to take form. Vibrant blooms and fresh vegetables sprouted where hope had once felt elusive. Night after night, they gathered to pray, fueling their endeavors with unwavering faith. Their candles flickered to life under the stars, illuminating shared dreams and lifted burdens. With each prayer, they felt their hearts intertwining deeper, creating a tapestry rich with resilience and divine promise. Weeks slipped by as the garden flourished, and soon, the first fruits of their labor arrived. There was more than just food. There was joy, community, and a sense of purpose that enveloped them like a warm embrace. One sunny afternoon, they gathered to celebrate the bounty. Friends and families filled the square, and the once solemn space was alive with laughter and music. Mary looked around, her heart swelling with gratitude. This was it, the manifestation of all they had prayed for. Look how far we have come, she called, standing up to address the crowd. Together, we have tended not only to these plants but to one another's hearts. This is proof that our faith, united as one, can reshape our destinies and transform our village. Cheers erupted, bright hope twinkling in each eye. Yet something inside her stirred as she sensed the deeper call for action and urge to extend their impact beyond the borders of Meadowlark. Let us take this light beyond our village. Let us reach out to others in need. Hands shot up in agreement as ideas flowed. They would share their lessons, their stories, even their struggles. They would become a beacon of love and guidance to others. The following weeks brought new beginnings, as they connected with nearby towns, offering support and illuminating paths of divine possibility. Everywhere they went, hearts were touched. Every prayer was an echo of the sacred blessings they had created. As they unified their purpose, Mary's heart felt full. With every kindness shared, they kindled more miracles, igniting a movement rooted in faith and unwavering love. On the day of their biggest gathering yet, with villagers from neighboring lands in attendance, Mary sensed God's presence surrounding them, the culmination of all their sacrifices and hopes manifesting in ways they never imagined. Together, she began, looking over the sea of faces brimming with love. We have unlocked the miraculous skills hidden within us. Let us carry this flame, this light, forward until it reaches every lonely heart in need. As the group lifted their voices in praise, the courtyard vibrated with love, and Mary felt the divine current weaving between them, bringing a sense of peace and belonging that resonated deep within her soul. They were not just building a garden. They were nurturing a legacy of faith that would ripple through time, a testament to the power of collective hope. And in that moment, with dawn breaking over the horizon, a truth crystallized. What began as whispers of doubt spiraled into a monumental manifestation of love, hope, and community. This was where heaven met earth, where ministry coursed through life. They had transformed their trials into triumphs, one heart at a time. Together, they stepped into forever. Now is your time to take action. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories of faith. Leave a like now, it fuels the algorithm and helps others to find this light. Comment below with your reactions and testimonies about this ending. And share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to witness this powerful manifestation. This is the moment to show your support. Let us spread the love of God far and wide. Don't wait even one more second.